Anand Reddy sir, thank you so much for coming on camera. Good morning. So yes, let's get started without wasting much time. But before that, I would like to play a small introduction video. So let's have a look at it.
Recording in progress.
So once again, a very good morning to each and every one of you who have joined here. So myself Rahul and I'll be your host for today's session. And before we get started today, few ground rules. I request every one of you to switch on your cameras and come on camera. So each and every one of us could see you, and it'll be really great initiative to support the speaker also today. So who's gonna give us various information about today's topic. And without much delay, so let's invite our today's speaker. That's none other than our nutritionist, Dr. Sapna Ji is with us. So with all your permission, let's welcome her to the digital stage. Sapna, over to you.
Thank you, Rahul. A very good evening, namaskar, and suprabhat to all of you. I welcome you all in today's session because today we are going to talk about Ayurveda way of living, right? And you all know that it is known to be one of the oldest healing system, right? And why we are talking about Ayurveda way of living? Because somewhere we are talking about not the disease state today. We are talking about preventive measures, right? And Ayurveda, as you all know, that it focuses on maintaining the balance between your body, mind, and spirit to promote good health, right? So, in today's session, see, because you all know that Ayurveda is a big, big subject, it is a vast subject. So, I will not be able to cover everything, but I'll try to cover the things that are mentioned to follow in day to day life and which can be practically utilized in our day-to-day life, right? And we'll be talking majorly on the preventive part of today, and that also just like very 1/10, not even 1/10 part of it, very minute part of it. But hopefully you will be able to see some relevance in today's time also, that how you can include all of these things. Okay, just give me a moment, I'll share the screen. My screen should be visible. I'll just put it on the presentation mode. My screen is visible,
Yes.
right? Rahul, right?
Yes.
Okay. So we are talking about Ayurveda way of living, and Ayurveda name itself suggests Ayur means Ayu, that means life, and Veda means science. That means Ayurveda is basically science of life. See, in today in Ayurveda, we are not, the name itself is suggesting we are not talking about the diseased condition right now. Though the disease condition is also a part of Ayurveda, but if you're aware, many of the things are suggested that what are the day-to-day things that can be done on everyday basis, so that you're able to prevent to get into any kind of diseased state, right? So basically it is the science of longevity and it is the way of life, right? So Ayurveda was is definitely called as the science of medicine, the oldest science of medicine, but majorly, it is about the way of life. It is such an old system of science or of healing. yet so relevant in today's modern times as well. You'll be able to see that so many things we have picked up from our ancient tradition only, right? So let me first of all get into the aim of Ayurveda, because once we understand the aim of Ayurveda, you'll be able to see that things are suggested to prevent your health first. So what is the aim of Ayurveda? It says swasthasya swasthya rakshanam aturasya vikar prashmanam cha. That means the first line suggests that you have to preserve the health of a healthy person, right? And the second aim of Ayurveda is suggesting then you have to take care of the diseased condition. So first aim of Ayurveda itself is your swasthasya swasthya rakshanam. That means you have to preserve the health of a healthy person. Okay, so that basically in today's time, what we say, prevention is better than cure. So if you're preventing a health of a healthy person, that automatically there are least chances of you getting into a diseased condition. Okay. Now, so today what we are going to talk about majorly, we are going to talk about doshas, because you know that like doshas are basically the base of everything that Ayurveda is based on. So many of the things, whether it is disease, whether it's what kind of diet you're going to eat, what kind of lifestyle you should be following, right? All of that is based on the doshas, right? Doshas, many of you must be knowing that these are basically your vata, pitta, kapha. Okay. Doshas, what do you understand by doshas? You can understand in modern terminology that it is basically the software of your body. It is basically the operating system of your body. So imagine in your phone, if your operating system doesn't work properly, what happens? Your phone will start hanging up. It will start working slow. You will not be able to open different apps, right? So just a moment. The same way, if there is any kind of imbalance in your doshas, it will affect each and every system of yours. And that's why we'll slightly understand a little bit on the doshas. Then it is your ahar, vihar. Ahar is basically your diet, which Ayurveda has a lot of emphasis on. So when we talk about ahar, it's not only for the healthy person, for a diseased person also. If you see, every disease is having a ahar and vihar associated, that they are not focusing on the only on the medicine part. They also suggest that if you're taking a medicine in this disease, this is the diet or this is the lifestyle also you should be following to take care of the diseased condition. Vihar is basically your lifestyle, and in that we will be talking about dincharya, that is your daily regime, and your ritucharya, that is your seasonal regime. Okay, so let's go start one by one. Okay. So when we talk about vata, pitta, kapha, the science says that whatever is there in your universe, right, in your cosmos, that is the same thing is present in your body, right? Whatever is there in the Brahmand, the same is there in your body also. And that's why you must have heard this terminology called as Pancha Mahabhut, right? So that is your air, your space, your fire, your water, your earth, right? So these doshas are basically considered as a combination of these Panch Mahabhut only, and these basically work as a operating system of your body. Okay. Now Vat is basically a combination of your air and space. So understand this here, that whatever the property of air and space, basically Vat is representing that property only, right? So air is basically has a very moving property, right? So moving property, so whatever is there in your body moving, right? Like any kind of like circulation or any kind of your nervous transmission or any kind of digestion, that is your bowel movement, that is also movement, right? So all of that is dependent on your Vata. Then Pitta. Pitta is basically a combination of fire and water. So again, I know it's a very opposite kind of thing, but majorly Pitta is basically fire is on the dominant side. So fire is basically all kind of your digestive juices, enzymes, right? Metabolism, right? That is dependent on your Pitta dosha. And Kapha is basically a combination of water and earth. And these are all very stagnant, right? Very, very still. So this is basically any kind of all your mucus, your immune system, your fluids, any kind of mucosal lining, that is dependent on your kapha. Okay, now on your right hand side, you're able to see that which part of your system is majorly dependent on which dosha. Okay, so as I said, that cough is basically controlling your sinuses, your nostrils, your throat, your bronchi, your lungs. So any kind of diseases related to this, you have to understand that your kapha is imbalanced. Okay, when it comes to pitta, so if I just explain you that pitta is mainly dependent on your metabolism, and if you see, pitta is majorly a part of these organs like your liver, which is a major part of your metabolism, your spleen, your gallbladder, your stomach, your duodenum, and your pancreas, where all the digestive juices, enzymes are getting secreted, and it is taking part in your metabolism. And vata is basically your nervous system, your small intestine, and your large intestine. That means it majorly is affecting your digestion and your bowel movement. Okay, so now you understand that how all your diseases are related to these three doshas. Okay, now let's understand what are the properties, because as I said that whatever the panch mahabhut, these doshas are made up of, the characteristics are dependent on that only, right? So basically doshas are responsible for a person's physical body, sleep, digestion, hair, voice, and intellect also. So on the basis of doshas only, you can understand that this person is Vat Prakriti, or this person is Pitta Prakriti, or this person is Kapha Prakriti. Okay. Now, if you see here, Vata is basically a very thin frame person. The skin is very dry, because what is the property of air? That is, the air is mostly dry, right? It is so what is the property physically? The person will be thin frame. You must have seen, no, that this will he never gains weight. He is a very thin frame, lean person all the time. Dry skin. The person will be having more of cold hands and feet. So if you touch this kind of person, when they touch your hand and all, you'll be able to see that their hands are always cold, right? Their feet and hands are always cold. Their digestion will be irregular, because air, what happens when air moves around? Sometimes what happens, it can suppress the fire also, and it can sometimes aggravate the fire also. So if there is a Vat Prakriti, what will happen? Their digestive fire will be irregular, and that's how their digestion will be irregular. Sometimes they'll feel good digestion, sometimes they'll feel bloated, sometimes they'll be feeling constipated. All of that will be there, right? Joint pains will be more on this kind of person, and the person will be a light sleeper. That means, like when the person is sleeping, a little bit of sound also, the person will get up, right? So this way you'll be able to understand what kind of prakriti you all are having. In the psychological thing, the person will be very creative, enthusiastic, quick thinking, adventurous, but the mood swings also will be there, and the memory will be very flickering. That means the person will be able to learn also, but the person will be able to forget also, right? Like movement, it is coming and going. Okay, the second is your pitta. Pitta will be a medium built person. The temperature will be warm, so if you touch the palm or to any of the body surface, you'll be able to see that there is always heat, or the temperature is towards the higher side. The skin will be oily, soft. The digestion will be very strong, because pitta, basically the digestive fire is on the stronger side, but they will also be having a tendency towards more of heartburn or acidity. Okay, emotional, that means psychological. What will be the characteristics? The person will be intelligent, focused, ambitious, competitive, perfectionist, and but the anger and irritability will be there. Pitta, that means fire, right? That person will be very aggressive also. And the kapha prakriti, the person will be towards the sturdy side. That means slightly towards the overweight or the obese side, because kapha is on the higher side. Weight gain tendency will be higher. Smooth and moist skin will be there. Digestion will be slow, because kapha is basically water. What does it do? It slows down the digestive fire. So the digestion will be very slow. And emotionally, the person will be very calm, very patient, compassionate. They'll be having a very good memory, and the long term memory also, right? They'll be slightly towards the lazier side or the lethargic side, right? So these are basically few of the physical and the psychological properties. Now you can slightly assess that what kind of dosha are dominant in yours. And every body type is different, and it's a combination. None of the body type will be only Vata, only Pitta, only Kapha. There will be certain characteristics of Vata and certain characteristics of Kapha. So it will be a combination of two of any of the doshas. Okay, but these doshas again are affected by the day, time of the day, season of the day, climate of the day, and stages of life. So it's not that okay, once you know that okay, you're a vata pitta person, it cannot change. Like imagine you're going to a place where it's a very cold place, so maybe you will be having more of the vata characteristics and the pitta characteristics will be on the lesser side. That means you may face challenges related to that. Okay, so there is no a magic rule applied, but this is the base, and on that basis you can focus on the other things. Okay, now, here, if you see, it's slightly mentioned here that if it is in balance, what happens, and if it is in imbalance, what happens. So, if your vata is imbalanced, you'll be having a higher chance of getting hypertension, constipation, arthritis. So, you must have seen, no, like people with joint pain, and they say that my vata has increased. That's why I'm feeling a lot of joint pain, muscle pain, and all, right? That why? Because the vata has increased in the body, so it leads to a lot of joint pains. The tendency of the weight loss will be there, right? That means they'll not be able to gain weight much faster. The insomnia, that means the sleeplessness condition will be there, and they'll be having a lot of digestive challenges and anxiety, because they'll be very, again, like uh, thinking very fast. They'll be anxious all the time, right? Like what it keeps on moving, right? So they'll be thinking one thing one time, the other thing other time, right? So they'll be moving very fast with the thoughts as well. Okay, now pitta prakriti, if it is in balance, then the digestion will be perfect. They'll be having a very good complexion, they'll be having a very strong appetite, right? They'll be very sharp minded, right? But if it is imbalance, then what will happen? A lot of eczema. You must have seen people telling that, I have a lot of pitta is coming out, right? That is because a lot of eczema and skin rashes will be there. There will be a lot of redness on the skin, burning sensation will be there, acidity and ulcers will be there, and these people will be very short tempered, aggressive. Okay, then the third is your kapha, and kapha, if it is in balance, what will happen? Stamina will be good, they'll be having thick hair, smooth skin, they'll be loyal, they'll be patient, they'll be supportive, their memory is very good. But if it is out of balance, then they'll be going towards the lazier side, they'll be oversleeping, they'll be overweight, respiratory diseases will be on the higher side, and these are the people who will be having higher chances of getting diabetes as well. Okay, now as we understood about the circadian rhythm, the biological clock, when we spoke about morning nutrition, now if you see in Ayurveda also, they have their own biological clock which is based on the doshas, that at what particular time of the day which dosha is on the higher side. Now if you're and as per that, if you're not doing the things, then what will happen? It will start giving you some troubles. Like imagine if you're having a lot of if during the evening time, if there's a lot of vata is on the higher side, and you're like having a very dry weather and all, so again it will start impacting, right? So if you see here, as per the biological clock, what happens? 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. is your pitta is on the higher side. That means your digestive fire is the strongest and the metabolism is the strongest. And that's why we say that maximum of the work, if you want to do, get it done in the first half. Your energy levels are on the higher side. The same we understood in the circadian rhythm, that your stress, the cortisol hormone is on the higher side, which gives you that alertness, right? All your insulin hormone and everything is on the higher side in the daytime, which helps you for the metabolism part. Same they are suggesting here also, but it is just based on the doshas. Okay, so 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., it is the maximum action time. It is the maximum productive time. And Ayurveda suggests that lunch should be the biggest meal of the day, because that is the time when your pitta is the strongest, right? And the digestion is the strongest. Then comes from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. You have to you get moving. That is a very creative time of your day, that is the time when you socialize, and the last meal should be the lightest for the digestion. Then comes post 6, right? 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. Now this is a time when Ayurveda suggests that you should stop eating 3 hours before bedtime. The same has been suggested in the circadian rhythm also, that try to have the lightest dinner and try to have it as early as possible and as lighter as possible, right? And then they have suggested a relaxing evening routine also. You'll not believe that they have suggested a sleep wake cycle. They have suggested the nidra sthan, that you should be making your bed and there should be a proper sleeping space, right? The same we have suggested in the modern thing also. So many of the things has been picked up from Ayurveda, and now we know it as the biological clock or the circadian rhythm. But if you see, everything makes sense here, right? Because after sunset, what happens? Your kapha is increased. That means kapha is, that means you start feeling lazy. You don't feel like doing a lot of like heavy work and all. You start feeling sleepy and dizziness. And this is the time when your melatonin secretion starts, right? And that's why you feel that your breathing rate is slowing down. You are slightly, your activities are going towards the lesser side, because cough, right? It is a combination of water and earth. So that means you start becoming more still here. Okay. Then midnight again from 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. And we suggested in the biological clock also, circadian rhythm, that this is a time when your acidity is on the higher side, right? And that's why we say that try to have a lighter dinner, okay? Because your acidity is on the higher side. Okay, acidity in the sense the pitta is on the higher side, and this is a time when you end up into getting into a very deep sleep. There's a lot of subconscious action happening. That means the memories are happening, your information is getting processed, the body is getting detox, your brain is getting detox, your liver is producing a lot of toxins which is coming into the circulation. Healing and restoring is happening between 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. Now imagine many of us, when we start sleeping at 1 o'clock only or 12 o'clock only, what is happening? That healing and the restoring time is getting reduced. And that's why if you see, a lot of us are having very short term memory, we are getting very aggravated, right? Because the healing process is not happening, restoring process is not happening. We are waking up with sore muscles. We are feeling that okay, we have had a silly sleep, but we are still not feeling refreshed. Why it is happening? Because the restoring, the detoxing, the healing process, is the time is getting reduced. That is not happening properly, right? And that's why in Ayurveda they say that 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. is the best time to sleep, because that is the time when your body's healing process will be the maximum. And then in the like 2 a.m. to 6 a.m., vata is on the higher side, right? So that is the time when the sleep is getting lighter and lighter. You're waking up, the elimination process is happening. Why? Because vata is on the higher side. So you feel the urge of passing out the motions, right? All of that is happening. Meditation, creation, right? And this setting of the daily intention is happening between 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. This is also called as Brahm Muhurat, that is your 4:30. So anywhere between 1 hour 36 minutes before the sunrise is basically called as Brahm Muhurat, which we are almost doing these days, right? We are already practicing one of the principles of Ayurveda, that is getting up during the Brahm Muhurat, okay? And then again, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. is again your cuff is on the higher side, right? So you plan and prepare for the day, you go for exercise and all, right? So this is basically the ancient biological clock we should be understanding, which is based majorly on the three doshas. Okay. Now, just one more. I know the picture is not that great, but this was the best picture I could get, where you can understand what kind of diseases you can get if you are having the imbalance in these three doshas. The people who are having a vata imbalance, they will be having more of headaches, dry skin, migraine, right? Migraine is one of the conditions of your vata imbalance only. Constipation, nervousness, anxiety, hyperactivity or hypersensitivity, insomnia, and premature aging. So doshas basically, they say that, what do you mean by doshas in Ayurveda? Dosha says that dosha is basically which darkens, that means which accelerates the aging if it is imbalance, right? So that's how we say that if all these doshas are out of balance, it will accelerate the aging. When the aging will accelerate, what will happen? All the diseases will come much more earlier, and that will lead to a lot of lifestyle and metabolic disorders. If your pitta is out of balance, what will happen? You will be having more risk of getting these ulcers, fevers, acne, right? Your acidity, agitation, your aggression, anger, and you'll be having more of, burning sensation all the time. If your kapha is out of balance, what will happen? You will be having more of respiratory ailments. You'll be having more of tendency of weight gain, fluid retention, because kapha is basically water only, right? If it is imbalanced, then that means the thing that is supposed to go out of the system will not go out of the system, and the retention of the fluid will happen. Lot of seasonal allergies will be there, and lot of mucus and congestion related problems will come. Okay. Now, what is the Ayurveda way to optimal health? Basically, they are focusing. So today we are majorly be talking on the diet and the nutrition part, and a little bit on the lifestyle. Okay, we are not talking about diseases at all today, because it's not possible to cover everything. Okay. So when we are talking about Ayurveda way, majorly focus is on the diet and the nutrition part, especially when we are talking about the preventive part of it. Okay. So diet and nutrition, basically they are saying that the diet also is based on the doshas, right? So if you're a Vata Prakriti, you should have these kind of foods. If you're Pitta Prakriti, you should have these kind of foods. And if you have Kapha Prakriti, you should have these kind of foods. That means if you are more of Kapha Prakriti, that means your tendency of getting all these congestion and cold and respiratory problems are there. So you should be eating warm foods, right? If you are having a Vata Prakriti, which is very dry in nature, then you should have something very moist and very oily. Oily in the sense, snigdha we say, like ghee related foods. That will help you to counter the features of Vata, and that will help you to reduce the risk of getting diseases that you can get from Vata. Okay. So that way, you should be eating foods that are going to pacify that particular dosha that is there in the imbalance. Okay. In fact, in Ayurveda, they say that every disease that you are getting in future or you are at a risk of, that is basically dependent on the poor digested food. So Ayurveda says that poorly digested food is basically the root cause of most of the diseases, because the food that is indigested becomes a toxin for the body, right? And it has a very sticking property. It acts as a toxin. It accumulates in all your cells, all your channels, which doesn't let the proper thing happen. That means it definitely impacts your metabolism. The same we say today also, right? That if you're not having proper food, or if your digestion is weaker, or if you're not having the right amount, right quantity and quality of the food, it will not get converted into like fat, right? And fat has a very sticking property. It gets accumulated anywhere and everywhere. It gets accumulated around pancreas, liver, intestine, stomach, everywhere, and then it definitely interferes with the normal functioning of each and every system, which can lead to a lot of diseases again, right? So Ayurveda believes that you are not only what you eat, you are what you eat, when you eat, how you eat, and where you eat. Okay. Along with that, it definitely suggests, because we are talking on the preventive basis, it definitely suggests that a lot of herbs are there in and around our kitchen and around us, which you can use it on a regular basis, and it can act as a preventive method. That means it can pacify. These are basically called as shaman, right? So there are two ways of taking care of your health. Shaman is basically when you're doing the things on a day-to-day basis, and it is not letting you to reach to the disease state. And Shodhan is where you are already diseased, and there they do panchkarma and all, then they scrape out all the toxins and all, and that's how you are able to take care of the current problem. Okay. Then comes the lifestyle changes. Lifestyle changes is basically focused on the dincharya and ritucharya. That means how you should be doing the changes as per the day and as per the season also, because you know that seasons are so varied. So if you are following the same routine in every season, then it will not help you. Okay. So lifestyle changes, how you sleep, right? Patterns of sleep, proper hydration, physical activities, and then mind and body practices, which includes your yoga, meditation, pranayama. Okay. Which again helps you to balance the doshas and keep in harmony your body as well as mind. Okay. So we'll be just talking about the diet today a little bit on the daily regime and the seasonal regime. Okay. I'll slightly go faster because I know I have lesser time. Now, see, I'm not going to explain you all of this. if you want, you can take a screenshot of this. So there are so as I told that you can eat the food as per your dosha. So if you are having more of kapha, you can go for kapha pacifying diet. So if you see all the diet that is there, it is more of kapha is basically water, so you should be having something which is slightly drier, right? So more of your black beans, black eyed peas, then the vegetables, your onion, your potatoes, your lettuce, your bell peppers, carrot, spinach, all of that, right? And if you see, all these are vegetables are majorly you get in your winter season. Your bell peppers, your, I know in Bangalore you get everything here only. But if you see all these bell peppers, carrot, and everything, you will get more in the winter season. Why? Because it has the property itself. And that's why Ayurveda say that you should be having seasonal vegetables and seasonal fruits, because there is a science behind those fruits and vegetables coming in that particular season, because they have that property of pacifying that particular dosha. Okay, so that's how these are the things. I'm not getting into detail. So if you see the Vata pacifying diet, it says more of cheese, ghee, butter, buttermilk, cow's milk, right? Almond oil, ghee, coconut oil, because these are having very moistening properties, or these are having very moisturizing property, and Vata needs moisturization. Pitta, if you see, it is basically talking majorly on the cooling. The fruits and vegetables are more of towards the cooling side, right? Because pitta is more towards the, you have to have more of the cooling foods. Okay, so I'm not getting into detail, because if I just get into detail, it will be too much time taking. So you can, if you want, you can click a picture and then we can go ahead. If you see in kapha pacifying diet, the grains are basically barley, buckwheat, and all, which are ruksh, that means dry in property, right? And here in vata, if you see, it's more of rice and wheat, right? Which is more towards the what to say, uh, like snigdh in property. That means more of moisturizing property. Like rice is more moisturizing; it doesn't dry your system, right? So when you want to lose weight and all, what happens? We tell you to have more of millets, because millets are drier in nature. And what is your fat? That is kapha in nature. So if you're having that kind of food, it will basically help you to like scrape out the fat. That's what we say in Ayurveda. Okay. Now there is a way of eating also. So what you should be following when you're following the Ayurveda way of eating. And if you see, most of the things we follow now also, many of the things your older people must be telling you that you should eat this way, you should eat that way. There is a proper bhojan mantra also. Why? Because they want to promote mindful eating, right? So what foods, how you should be following? You should be selecting the foods based on doshas. You should be eating the right quantity. You should be eating at the right time. You should be eating at the right place also. You should not eat incompatible foods. You should not eat too slow or too fast. You should eat in a calm way. Eat soft and smooth quality food. Eat only when you're hungry. Do not drink water after meals, which many of the our older people definitely speak about. Then they also say that you should be going for mindful eating. You should eat until satisfied, not till full. And that's what we suggest also, right? We say that you should not be eating till here. And that's what Ayurveda also suggests, that your stomach, you should be eating half a portion of solids, one fourth portions of liquid, and one fourth portion you should keep it for air. That means you should keep it empty. Okay. You should all include all the six tastes also. So there is a order of eating in Ayurveda also, that how you should start eating. So there should be a sweet taste first, then sour, then salty, then pungent, then bitter, then sweet. So including all the taste of the food basically is suggesting that that you should be promoting more of colorful diet, right? Because if sweet is basically rice or roti, then you're maybe going for something sour, that can be maybe a curd or a buttermilk. Then it can be something salty, that it can be a cooked vegetable. Then it can be some kind of pungent, right? So it can be maybe some kind of pickle and all. Then it can be again bitter and astringent. Then again it can be some form of colored vegetables. And then again you can end up with some sweet. Okay. So this is the way of eating that Ayurveda promotes. The idea is basically to promote the diet which is more balanced, which is more colorful, Because when you're having all these foods, then what will happen? It will be giving you it will be energy giving, right? A balanced, what are the benefits of balanced diet? It will be more of energy giving, right? Which we basically talk about the carbohydrates, right? Carbohydrates. Then structure building. So what we are telling here, that you should be including more protein also, because that will be basically helping you with the structure building. Then removing excess fat. So what we are talking about? We are talking about that include more of protein and fiber. Eliminating the waste products, again, we are emphasizing more intake of the fiber here. Wear and tear of the tissues. So that means we are saying that include more of your, protein rich foods, because that will help you with the wear and tear. And then promoting digestion, again, your more of fiber rich food. So talking about the balanced diet and including all the 6 days basically says that you should be having a balanced diet, you should be having a colorful diet, and you should be having a diet which gives you all these benefits. Okay. So now there is a concept of Viruddha Ahar also, that is your incompatible diet. So you must have seen your grand, now so we are mixing each and everything. We are mixing fish and curd, we are mixing fish and milk, we are mixing meat and milk. So all of that is there. But if you see your old people, they'll always say, don't mix this and this food, it is not good for your digestion. Basically, Ayurveda has a whole concept of it called as incompatible diet or Viruddha Ahar, right? Viruddha Ahar is basically the food to food interaction, because if you're eating this combination of food, it may get converted into the poison, the arm wish, which leads to a lot of diseases, right? So what are those combinations? Like your milk, you cannot combine with a lot of fish, egg, melon. So now we are having all kinds of shakes and smoothies, right? Khichdi, right? Then radish, you cannot mix it with milk, banana, raisins. Then you cannot mix mango with yogurt, and we are all enjoying the mango yogurt and all, right? You should not mix mango cheese, mango cucumber. Then you should not include lemon with milk, yogurt, and tomato. Corn, you should not be having it with banana, raisins, dates. So but now all the mixing is happening, which can lead to a lot of toxicity, and that may be also one of the reasons that we are having so many digestion related problems. Okay, here are few of the things that are again should not be mixed. Like beans, you should not mix it with fruit, milk, cheese, yogurt, egg, meat, fish, but you can mix it with your grains, vegetables, other beans, nuts, and seeds. Then again, your cheese, you should not mix it with your fruit, eggs, milk, yogurt, hot drinks. And again, you can mix it with your grains and vegetables. Lemons, you should not be mixing with cucumber. So imagine we put a lot of salt and lemon in all our salads, right? So, but they say that you should not be mixing it with cucumber, because see, when you're mixing a lot of lemon and the cucumber are also more of waterproof, right? So all the water comes out, and the thing that it has to do into our body doesn't happen properly. Basic idea is around that only. Cucumber, tomatoes, milk, yogurt, lime with cucumbers and tomatoes, right? You and but okay with other foods in small quantities. Milk you should not include with your banana, sour fruits like your citrus fruits and all, right? Yeasted breads, your egg, yogurt, meat, fish, khichdi. You should not have milk along with these foods. Milk is best enjoyed on its own, because it is said that it is a complete food in itself, right? Eggs you should not mix with your milk, and also we make a lot of pancakes and all where we mix egg, milk, and everything, which is definitely not a very compatible food for our digestion, though maybe our digestive system has also evolved and we are able to digest all of this. But I am telling about the Ayurveda way of eating foods. Okay, so you may need not to follow everything, but few of the things if you're doing wrong, you can slightly think about it and maybe stop doing that. Okay, now what are the things that you should avoid for each and every dosha? So vata prakriti people should not be going into very windy places and all, because their vata dosha will increase and the problems related to that will also increase. Like your wind, they should avoid caffeine, because caffeine is very dehydrating in nature, right? And vata itself is very dry in nature. A lot of traveling in like windy places or very high altitudes and all. Irregular routine, because anyway it will impact your bowel movement and everything. So if you are following an irregular routine also, that will worsen the condition. irregular meals also, because the digestive fire is very irregular. So if you're having irregular meals, you may not be able to digest the food properly. Then again, pitta prakriti people should not be having a lot of heat foods. They should avoid alcohol, smoking, any kind of, pressure and the stress. The cough people should avoid the cold and damp places. They should avoid oversleeping, overeating, and the heavy foods. So these are few of the concepts that you know that okay, it is relevant in today's time also because of the properties of that particular food or the things associated with that particular lifestyle. Here now we are talking about the dinacharya. So dinacharya is basically it is one of the principles of Ayurveda to balance the doshas and keeping the person healthy and disease free. And these are the things that can be done on a very day to day basis, right? So, Dincharya basically starts with your sunrise, waking up with or before sunrise. So, generally, they say that you should wake up in the third praher. That means the almost 1 hour 36 minutes before the sunrise. You can on an average you can take that 90 minutes before the sunrise, right? Why? Because that is a time when there's a very good flow of positive energy, right? There's no pollution, the air is nice, the oxygen level is on the higher side, so all of that will definitely help you with your all your senses to the maximum, your oxygenation to the maximum. That is the time when you can practice your breathing and meditation. You can set your intentions right for the day, right? So all of that will help you to start your day on a positive note. Okay, then once you wake up, they say that you should say a prayer and express gratitude, which we are now following, which has been said like 3000 years ago itself. Now we are practicing gratitude. Now we are doing sessions on understanding the importance of your gratitude, right? But it has been told and said all the time, right? Then there is a concept of Ushapan, where they suggest that you should be drinking warm water. Why? Because it will help you not only to detoxify, but your rehydration of the cells also, because for the 8 hours, last 8 hours, you have not drank any water. So it will help you to rehydrate as well as detoxify. Then you have to answer your nature's call. That means excretion of your stool and urine also. Then they have also a very detailed concept of your oral hygiene, where they have suggested that you should be using herbal mouthwash, right? They you should be using a toothbrush, and toothbrush also they have suggested as per the doshas also. So you see how detailed it is. In fact, they have told that how much should be the length of the toothbrush also, which tree toothbrush you should be using. Earlier they used to use this name neem, and the the mulethi, right? Because they are anti-inflammatory, antibacterial in nature, so it will definitely help you with your oral hygiene also, right? Then oil pulling was told like 3000 years back, and now we are saying that okay, I follow the oil pulling, and we are now understanding the benefits of oil pulling, though it was said and told 3000 years ago, right? And then there is a concept of tongue cleaning also, like scraping of the tongue, because they know now we are definitely doing it on a day-to-day basis, but it was told 3000 years ago. Then they also say that wash your face with cold water, cleaning of the tooth, for that they say that use different types of brushes, right? Cleaning of the nose, so you must have seen many of your grandparents or your parents must be using, they'll put oil in the nose, right? Because they clean that nasal passage, which is called as nasyam, right? So all that concepts somewhere are there with the grandparents and parents, but it has not yet transferred to us because we don't know and we don't understand the relevance of that, or we don't want to practice that because we don't have much time, right? And then there is a concept of self massage. Why? Because it definitely nourishes the body, right? Now we apply moisturizer and all. Earlier times there were no moisturizer, so they used to tell that use coconut oil or sesame oil to massage your body, because it will help you with your circulation, it will help nourish your skin, it will increase the blood circulation, it will support your joints also, right? And that way it will help you to maintain the youthfulness as well. And then they say that you should be going for your exercise, right? Exercise again, in that also exercise also it is mentioned that how do you know that you are getting good exercise or you're doing the good exercise? They have said that increased sweating, increased heart rate, and lightness of the body. That means half of your energy should be down, and that's when you should understand that you're doing the exercise in the right quantity. That means the right intensity, right? So this much detail they have told, that this much of sweating should be there, this much of energy loss should be there, because there was no criteria, there were no smartwatches that time, they were not knowing that how to calories concept was not there, but this was the concept which somewhere connects to the calories, right? Then again, bathing process is there. Like they say that you should not wash your head with your hot water. It is contraindicated. You should use a water which is at your body temperature. It should not be very cold also, and it should not be very hot also. So if you are people who are like taking a bath with very cold water, chilled water, you should avoid doing that. Okay, the water should be at your body temperature. Then they have spoken about your meals, and in Ayurveda they say that preferably meal should be taken twice a day, which many of us are practicing now, but said and told 3000 years ago, right? And you should eat as per the hungers, and water should not be taken just after the meals, and the quantity quality should be maintained, and mindful eating should be practiced. And last, after the dincharya comes the concept of ratricharya. That means where you are preparing your body for the rest, you are preparing your body for the sleep. And as I told, that sleep is a very important concept again, and they have told that nidra kram, that means the sleep and wake cycle, that you should sleep at a particular time and wake up at a particular time. Then they have told the concept of nidra sthan, that means the place of sleep. It should be proper, the bed and everything should be made properly. Then they have told shaman karma, that means the relaxation technique before you sleep. That means the meditation and the massaging to help you relax so that you are able to get a good sleep. Then they have told about the herbs to be used for getting a proper sleep. So there are a lot of concepts that are related to dincharya, and many of the things you can actually like include into your daily routine. Don't worry, just 2-3 slides, a little bit more, because I didn't want it to end up only with like something which you cannot like take it ahead, right? So that's why I'm just focusing on the two concepts, dincharya and racharya, which is dincharya and ritucharya, which is basic regime of particular ways how you can include it into your routine. Now comes the ritucharya. Ritucharya is basically how you should be slightly doing the changes as per the seasons. So in Ayurveda, they say there are 6 seasons, though we now say that there are only 4 seasons. So they say that there is Vasant, which is your spring. Then there is Grishma, that is your summer. Then there is Varsha, that is your rainy or monsoon. Sharad, that is your autumn. Hemant, that is your early winter. And Shishir, that is your late winters. And in these seasons also, there's a lot of changes in your doshas. So that's why you should be doing the changes in your diet and lifestyle as per that only. If you see, people say that you should not be eating very heavy foods in Grishma. Why? Because that is a time when your pitta is very much on the higher side, right? And if you're having a lot of like hot foods and spicy foods and all, it will give you a lot of acidity and ulcer. The same way people say that you can eat a little heavy food in the winters, because winters, to maintain the proper body temperature, you need to have like heavy foods which are giving you energy, which is helping you to maintain the temperature. And that's why you see, if you a lot of chickpeas, a lot of til, lot of moist oily food can be eaten and digested well in the winter season. That is all is dependent on how your doshas are working on the different season. Okay, so if you follow little bit of these regime as per the ritucharya, as per the seasonal regime, you will be able to see that you're not facing those challenges that comes during all these seasons. Okay, so if you see here, winter season, it's cold and dry in nature and aggravate the vata dosha. What are the symptoms that you will be able to feel? The skin will be very dry. We all feel in winter season, skin is very dry. We have to apply extra moisturizer. Then a lot of respiratory changes, respiratory problems will be there, and joint pains will be increased. What you need to do, you have to incorporate warm and nourishing practices. That means massaging your body, your hair, right? You should eat foods that are very warm, right? Energy giving and slightly heavy also. And then you can do yoga and meditation also. Sleep is contraindicated in the winter season in the daytime. Okay. Then spring season. Spring season is basically the March season where a lot of pollens are there. And again, what happens? Your kapha increases. And that is the time when you face a lot of seasonal allergies, congestion, lethargy, and all. What to do? You can include a lot of spicy and bitter foods, right? Because these foods basically reduces the effect of the cough, right? Regular physical activity should be there to improve circulations. Breathing exercise will be should be included to clear out the respiratory passage, okay, so that you don't face challenges related to your allergies and more of respiratory problems. Okay. Summer season, pitta is aggravated, you feel a lot of acidity, acne, heat stroke and all. And that's why they say that you should be staying back so that you don't get a heat stroke. You should be living in a cool environment, and also you should be having cool and calming foods also, right? So you should practice things that makes you cool and calm. So more of fluid, more of hydrating foods you should be taking. And if you see in this season, the fruits also that come, they are very hydrating, they are very water content. Your cucumbers come, your watermelon come, your muskmelon come, because they are 90% water only. Why? And that's why we say that go for seasonal fruits and vegetables, right? Practice gentle and restorative yoga poses, and you should not be doing very aggressive exercises in summers because the chances are high that you may get into some trouble, right? And incorporate cooling herbs and spices into your diet. Then comes the rainy season. Rainy season is basically a season of your vata getting increases, and that's why you say that pain and muscle pain gets increases. You have a lot of stomach infections, get a lot of flu, cold and all. What to do? Consumption of food which are easy to digest, warm foods, and avoid foods which are hard to digest. And that's why we say that in winter, in rainy season, you should not eat a lot of raw salads also. Slightly steam it and eat it, because that is the time when your digestive fire is very weak. And try avoiding eating outside food also, because since the digestive fire is weak, you may have a very high risk of getting stomach infections also. Avoid sleeping at daytime in Varsha Ritu also, because it can increase your kapha dosha. So these are the major 4 rainy season, and slightly some changes here and there that you can do as per the season. That is embedded actually into our daily routine only. If you see, gradually as we go one season to other season, we start doing the changes, because the fruits and vegetables comes in that way only. We slightly change our cooking method, we slightly change our sleeping method and all. Your grandparents must be telling you don't sleep in the daytime in winters, but they tell that in summer seasons you should definitely take a half an hour nap, because that helps you to rejuvenate your mind and body. Okay. So as per Ayurveda, you should know your doshas first. You should definitely start practicing a seasonal eating. You should start incorporating some things into your daily routine which will help you balance your doshas, which will help you prevent your health. You should definitely focus on using the natural remedies. That means, imagine you're going into the winter season, you start having some herbal teas and all, you start having some herbal decoctions and all to help you calm your kapha dosha, so that you don't end up into having a lot of respiratory problems. You should definitely practice yoga and meditation to connect your mind and body, so that you can achieve that optimal health that we are talking about. And then you can go for your detox practices as well. Okay. So in today's time, the Ayurveda way of living understanding is important, because it blends with our modern lifestyle. Not everything, but definitely a lot of things can blend with our modern lifestyle. If you see in the present hectic lifestyle and dietary patterns, lack of proper sleep definitely has led us, all of us, to all the metabolic disorders and lifestyle disorders. So doing these small changes as per the concepts of Ayurveda, as per the doshas, as per the day regime, as per the seasonal regime, can definitely help us live a longer and healthier life by creating a perfect balance of your mind and body. Okay. So with this, I will end my session, and thank you all for listening to me so patiently. I know I have taken a bit more time, but this is not even like 1/100th of what can we discuss when we speak about Ayurveda way of living. So hopefully you will be able to take some pointers in with today's session and try to incorporate into your daily routine. Sorry for taking more time. I know Rahul must be scolding me so much, but thank you for listening to me so patiently.
Thank you, Sapna. Thank you so much once again for sharing valuable insights. And I hope a lot of us would have got a lot of information on the Ayurvedic way of living and what are the do's and don'ts for a healthy living also. And once again, team, thank you so much for being part of today's session. And see you all tomorrow with another exciting session tomorrow. Thank you all. Have a great day.
Thank you. Have a great day. Have a lovely day.